Both in focus right now, Republican Congressman and Chairman of the Oversight Committee, Jim Jordan, Chairman of the Judiciary Committee in charge of that first hearing on the border yesterday. Welcome, welcome.
Good to be with you.
First of all, the back and forth among Democrats themselves, going back and forth about just how bad the GOP is. They were like one-upping each other.
Well, and remember what they said for 2 years. They said the border is secure, and they basically said there was no problem. Now they're saying, oh, it's your fault. You need to work with us Republicans to fix the problem. Well, if there was no problem, why do we need to work with you to fix the problem? Or if you were just lying to us when you said the border was secure and there really was a problem, why didn't you all fix it? Because you've been in control of every aspect of the federal government now for the last 2 years. So the inconsistency there is, I think, striking. But what we tried to show yesterday is why this matters. The impact this has on families, on communities. We had a dad who had lost his 15-year-old son because of fentanyl. We had a sheriff who's been in law enforcement for 38 years, who said that 2 years ago the border was as secure as he's ever seen it in his 31 years of law enforcement, and now today it's the worst he's ever seen. So the impact of crime, the impact on schools, the impact on hospitals, the impact on families and communities is so real. We tried to show that element yesterday in the hearing, and I think that came across, as well as the inconsistency and the double standard of the Democrats.
Also, and I had mentioned Chairman of Oversight, my mistake there, but we do also notice that there was a tense moment in that committee's hearing yesterday on COVID spending. So it isn't just the border, Chairman Jordan, it is other issues now that political divide is really being exposed. As Democrats don't want to talk about the issues and the details, they want to point fingers at you. Progressive Squad member Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez questioned the motive of the investigation about fraud and COVID and its focus on California, New York, Pennsylvania, all blue states. Let's watch together.
I cannot, for the life of me, understand why the majority would send these 3 letters just to these 3 states that leave us with no other conclusion that there needs to be some rank partisanship in this investigation.
Look, the chairman of Oversight, James Comer, told me about a week ago this is exactly where Republicans would start with these 2 hearings. What came about, do you think, after the questions that were asked in either of them yesterday?
Well, I'm sure the Democrats want to, yell partisanship, but and want to change the story, because for the past 2 years, everything they've done has been a mess. I mean, it's not only the COVID issue, it's the border issue that we had in our hearing yesterday. It's the record inflation, it's the record crime, it's the record deficit, the record inflation, the record debt. I mean, you can just go on and on. So I'm sure they want to, point to partisanship and try to change the subject. The fact is that those states that Mr. Comer was highlighting is where the biggest fraud's been. That's why you highlight it there. The facts are facts, and they're stubborn things. Yeah. I also think it's important we get to all the misinformation, disinformation that we got from our government regarding COVID. I always point out just about everything they told us turned out to be false. They told us it didn't come from a lab. It sure looks like it did. They told us it wasn't gain of function research. It sure looks like it was. They told it wasn't our tax dollars going to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Yes, it was. They told us the vaccinated couldn't get it. The vaccinated could transmit it. Those were obviously wrong. They told us there's no such thing as natural immunity. Well, Shazam, that'd be the first time in history dealing with the virus. There's no such thing as natural immunity. So on and on it went. Everything they told us turned out to be false, and yet they were the ones, the government, that was trying to set up the Disinformation Governance Board. So that's something I think you'll see Republicans look into as well, and make sure the country gets all the facts on everything they told us that was false.
Talk to me about accountability, because as the chairman of Judiciary, you do have the ability now, I would think, to hold some people accountable. What does that look like? I mean, you're hearing calls for impeachment of Mayorkas. My goodness, the people he leads at the border have told me they don't trust this man. Yeah.
No, well, look, he certainly warrants it. I've said all along that that's a decision we will have to make as a Republican conference. But you cannot look at the numbers. You cannot look at the impact, as I said, the impact and it's had on families and communities, not just on our border now, but all across the country. So you cannot look at all that and say this guy's not doing his job. But that'll be a decision that the entire Judiciary Committee and the entire Republican conference will have to make if we're going to go down that road.
Look, you've said it here before. We just don't have a lot of time. I mean, the numbers are staggering. People are dying on both sides of that border now. I mean, we have a suicide rate that is heartbreaking among our Border Patrol, and it's growing. And people coming here are dying in those waters. I mean, it's cold, and they're still coming in record numbers. It's unbelievable.
Not to mention that shootout that took place in central Mexico between the cartels. I mean, this is how violent these cartels are, and the money they're making in moving drugs and moving people. That is what is so frightening. And there are now 90-some people. Actually, the last 2 years, it's up to 126 people on the terrorist watch list that they've encountered on the border. And that's just the ones they catch. Think about the others who are coming through. So this is the scary thing, and the implications. If anything like what happened in central Mexico happens in our country, oh my goodness, let's hope it doesn't. Let's pray it doesn't. But that's what we're concerned about as well.
All right, well, we will continue to cover every hearing that you do so that we know what it looks like when the two sides are talking. It's important. Another chapter in the Hunter Biden saga, his attorneys admitting that the infamous laptop is actually his. Well, my goodness, they must read the news. We have receipts. They're now claiming it's being weaponized against him. No, it's called evidence. For what we don't know yet, we don't know what we don't know. The New York Post cover this morning, it's mine. Hunter Biden finally admits laptop of dirty deals and deeds is his. An op-ed calling out his team's new tactic, playing the victim. What do you make of it, Chairman?
Yeah, I mean, look, how could it be Hunter Biden's laptop? Because 51 former Intel officials told us it wasn't. So I mean, that to me is just like you've got to be kidding me. So they can say what they want. I think the American people understood. The focus that we'll have on the Judiciary Committee is how big government worked with big tech to keep that information from the American people, starting with those 51 former Intel officials who wrote that now famous line that the Hunter Biden laptop story has all the earmarks of a Russian information operation. We knew it wasn't at the time. Now we have confirmation, even from Hunter Biden himself, for goodness sake. So I think that's the key takeaway here.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest receipt of all is him talking about it, but the maintenance repair office where he left the laptop, I mean, there's a long, long list of breadcrumbs. Good to see you. Thank you so very much for being in focus.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.